said my own name wrong. My name is Denon. I am a part of the Camino team, and I'm here at Camino headquarters in Calgary, Alberta. I see that there are a few Camino members on the call today, which is awesome, and I recognize a few of you, interacted with a few of you. And I know that there's a few non-members who are joining us today as well, and it's awesome to see people take advantage of our community of freelancers and agencies. So just before we begin, I will encourage all of you to interact as much as you can with the chat feature. Where are you from? What are you excited to learn about today? Go let us know in the chat. We will have a Q&A at the end of this, so be sure to ask all of your questions, and Maitreyee and I will be very excited to answer them for you. And now, without further ado, today for our Camino member webinar series, we have a social media guru, a freelance illustrator and designer who's been recognized and sponsored by brands such as Sony USA and Adobe, Maitreyee. She's going to talk to you today about niche and how being an expert over a generalist helps you get more leads in today's very, very competitive market. We are so happy to have you here today, Maitreyee. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me. This is a very deep topic, but I'm going to do my best to actually convey all the topics that I have right now. So let's see.
Okay, awesome. Well, the floor is yours. I'm going to hop out of here now.
Great.
Awesome. I'll see you at the end.
Sure. So, hey guys, I'm Maitreyee. I'm going to switch off my camera in some time so that you can actually concentrate on the slides. So I'm Maitreyee. Hi, I'm an independent designer and an illustrator. I'm working for a lot of companies, brands from all over the fields. I work mostly with skincare brands to restaurants and cafes, and it's really fun to do illustrations for them. I'm just going to jump into the slides and switch off my webcam for now. I hope you can hear me. All right. I hope you guys can hear me. Feel free to actually start asking questions. We're going to get it after the slides are over. So yeah, we are talking about niche today. Niche is such a topic which is actually very, very close to my heart because niche is something which is we don't know how to choose and how to narrow down our niches because it is something that nobody else talked to us about. So finding a niche is actually very important. So I'm going to start with actually explaining what niche is. So people usually don't understand what actually niche is. So if you go on Google and find out what niche is, you'll actually find out this definition, which is a niche market is a segment of a larger market that can be defined by own unique needs, preferences, or identity that makes us different from the market at large. I know, I cannot even understand the thing that I just said, but to actually narrow it down, niche is a distinct segment of a market. And in my words, it's your specialty. So niche is something that you specialize in as you go from your career. So it can be anything from photography to illustrations to product design, logo design, UI design, web design, interior design. It can be anything you want. Niche is something that you really concentrate on. So people usually say, like, is having a niche necessary? Because, you know, this is the world where the world is your oyster kind of thing. So is really niche necessary? Is really narrowing down your career path or your field, is it really necessary? So, well, I say yeah. Then there's the debate of specialist versus generalist. I've seen a lot of people actually going with, hey, you know, I want to explore more. I don't want to be a specialist. If I can do logo design, photography, and maybe fashion design at the same time, I'm going to do it. Should I be a specialist or should I be a generalist? Well, it's kind of an old debate, you know. I think a lot of people, if you go online, they discuss this topic to and fro, from TED Talks to small podcasts. This is one of those topics that would never get old. So this is a simple chart that will actually explain what specialist and generalist are. So let's see on the left side. So specialists are those people who are expert in what they do. They're trustworthy and they're trusted by the companies a lot. They have really good depth of knowledge and they have various solutions for your one problem. And they're very confident in what they do. Whereas generalists, as you can see, they're very beginners and they're less experienced. They're risky. People or companies or brands tend to not invest in generalists. They have very surface knowledge of any topic that you give them. There are few solutions, and they're usually intimidated by the projects that they get. So companies and brands usually hire those people who are really experts in their own fields because companies and brands have less time on their hand, and they tend to pour all their money where people usually know what they're doing from start to finish. So let's say, for example, a client wants to hire a generalist, and let's say I am a generalist. I do logos and photography and illustrations and whatnot. So let's say they hire me. And the thing would be, if they tell me to go design, let's say, a UI for their product, I have no idea. I've never done that before. Maybe I have a very surface knowledge of that product. What I do is I'll have too much back and forth. I'll dive into the field after the project is given to me because I don't have any knowledge. And I won't be that confident about the solutions. Therefore, the project and the results would be unsatisfied, even for me and for the client, because this is something that would be very new for me. And let's say I'm a specialist. I'm an illustrator, and a client actually comes to me as a specialist, as that I'm an expert. So what they'll get is an expert opinion. They'll get very few questions. They'll get very pinpoint questions, and they'll really get a quality and a timely delivery because that's what clients are usually looking for. Specialists usually tend to know what they're doing, so they'll be the people who would actually lead the project on than the generalist who will just actually ask and keep asking questions. So as I said, like clients usually tend to put their money where they know what the job would be well done. They really are looking for a good trust, people with knowledge and who are experts in their field. So companies tend to put in more money if they see these three things in one person. They'll say, oh, you know what, it's totally fine. I'll have to pay $5,000 more, but this job would be totally fine and it would be done really perfectly from start to finish. So that time, the clients won't actually think about money. That time, they'll think about if you're an expert, if they can trust you, and if you have the knowledge. So the question, how to find your niche? It's a very broad topic and it's a very deep topic. So there are three questions that I usually tend to tell people that ask yourself these questions. If you really think these questions are answered perfectly, you'll totally find your niche within few days, perhaps. So the first question would be, what do you want to do in a long run? What do you see yourself doing in a long run? If you are doing logo design right now, do you see yourself in maybe 5 to 10 years that you are doing a logo design at that moment? What do you love to do? Do you really love to do logo designs? Is logo design your passion? Is sketching out and making strategies about logo your passion? And the most important question, is that going to make you money? I mean, obviously, it's your career, and we do have to talk about money. It's a very sensitive topic, I know. But I think, can you guys hear me? I hope you guys can hear me. All right, perfect. Okay. So I'm going to repeat this slide again. So is that going to make you money? So if you are going to do logo designs, let's say 5 to 10 years down the road, are you guys going to get money out of it? Yes, it's a very important question because it's going to help you earn your living. Obviously, that's your career. So I always suggest to make I like to be list. You know, when you are 5 years old and you are actually thinking about what I would like to be when I grow up. So that's the I'd like to be list. Think about yourself as a 5-year-old and just list out these things. Like I'd like to be, let's say I'm filling it out and I'd say I'd like to be in a what field? I'd like to be in a creative field as a what? A photographer, a visual designer, illustrator, it can be anything. So now narrowing it down because that will help you actually find your niche. So let's say, like we said, I would like to be in a creative field. In a creative field, it can be a lot of fields, like let's say photography, design. Let's say you want to go in design. Even design has a lot of field. It can be interior design, it can be fashion design, it can be graphic design. Let's say I chose graphic design. So what do you want to be in graphic design? Let's say I want to be a logo designer. So this is one of the best exercises that you can do to actually narrow down your list of niches that you have. So once you've narrowed down your niche and you've understood that you want to become a logo designer or illustrator, it's totally up to you and your list. So after you've decided what you want to become, I would suggest start visualizing yourself as that expert. Okay, that you have already become an expert in logo design, let's say. Now start brainstorming your niche. So if you start with logo design, how on what platforms should I market myself? How should I collaborate with people? Or which brands would I like to collaborate with? It can be clients, the type of clients you want to work with. So there are a lot of logo designers that I know personally who has one niche. It can be just restaurants and cafes. So they are very niche particular in logo designs. So you can understand and think about, what type of clients you want to work with. Then you have to think about the skills that you need to learn, because learning new skills, maybe online or in college, like going physically, would be something to be investing in for your future, and the mentors that you want to follow or get into your life and ask them questions about it. So I just say start exploring your selected niche. It would take you some time for sure, but once you have started exploring your own niche, it will get you somewhere else, because you can make the list 2-3 times, because when I just started out, it was logo design and branding, it was illustration, and it was character design. So I started with logo design. As you guys know, if you see my old work, it's all about logo and branding and all that. So that was my niche. But as I started understanding myself, I got to know that I really liked illustrations more. So I narrowed down my niche and I started exploring it. I don't know if you guys follow Tim Ferriss. He's an amazing entrepreneur. He always says, be a generalist specialist. So I know it's quite confusing, but I'll explain what it is. And in today's days, actually, people say, I want to explore everything. You don't have to be stuck with one thing the rest of your life. I want to explore more fields. So it's totally fine. The thing is, when you have actually understood your own niche, what you can do is you can broaden that niche and understand and how to get the generalist idea of that specialty that you have chosen. So, like for example, she is a designer. She's a logo designer. I follow a lot. So her specialty lies in logo designs, but she has broadened her niche or broadened her specialty into branding. So, for example, if someone comes to her for logo design, they would totally have more than just logo design for their expectations from their clients. And so the thing is, once she does the logo design, she can tell them that I can do all of these things for you. So I can have branding done, I can have packaging done. So under the logo design terms, once she has perfected her own niche, she can go under packaging design, she can go under branding and brand identity and all that. So broadening your niche is very, very important. Like my mentor, Chris Do says, be a specialist externally, but a generalist internally. This is a very, very important line because this changed me a lot personally. Because once you understand this and think about this every single day, you'll understand what it means. Being a specialist externally is like to show what you can do with that field. But when you show that you have this amount of depth and you can go broad in one specialty that you have, you become a generalist, and that's what makes you a great expert in the niche that you've chosen. I would then suggest you guys just have to start following niche-driven creatives. So if you have chosen, let's say, illustration, like me, start following people who are just niche-driven. So see on Behance, it can be Instagram, it can be anywhere, it can be Dribble. Start following them, see how they are doing it. Put yourself in their shoes. What steps they are taking for their business to grow? What kind of collaborations they are doing? How can you actually improve your work? Looking at their work, get inspired. Now, think for the long run so that you get to love what you do and do what you love. This is really, really, really important. And the thing is, doing what you love and loving what you do is the ultimate thing you are going to be wanting to do in the long run. Because for now, you can say, photography is making me a lot of money, but are you actually believing in it? Are you actually loving it? That makes the world of a difference, and that will actually make you work more hard and with more passion, and you'll actually grow more because of your passion and your beliefs. So really see what you love to do and drive your niche from it. My last thing would be to just start, because while going through the processes that you are going through actually getting the niche out of your system, you'll just start refining your niche on your own. In the end, niche is you. So finding yourself and you'll find your niche. It's my quote. It's not that famous, but I say it for myself. Like, find yourself and you will find your niche. I think niche is something that you believe in yourself. Once you start finding yourself and what you like to do, that will actually narrow down your niche. I hope you guys got this brief introduction that I just did. I'm back. It was a very deep topic, but I hope you understood what I wanted to say and convey. I'm done. I hope you guys can hear me. Let's see if you have any questions.
Questions now, we're more than happy to answer them. So I do have my first question for you.
Mm-hmm.
With being a specialist,
Mm-hmm.
is it difficult to decide where the money is if that's not necessarily where there's demand for your specialty at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
And what advice would you give to counter that?
So the thing is, your specialty should actually come from both the things. So, I mean, money is definitely very important, because in the end, it's your career, and that's what is going to actually buy you a lot of things that you need for your own passions or for your living and all that stuff. Because I've seen a lot of people and it's totally fine to have that aspect of having money, because it will actually make you feel that you're successful, and it will make you feel that you're actually working really hard towards something, right? So I would just suggest that you have to think about both the things. So even if it's not actually going to make you, tons of money, but if it's going to make you money for every single day, but you really love to do it, I think you should give it a try, because creative field is something that is not very hard and fast, and you can change your niche if you don't like it the next time. But I definitely say it should make you money for sure, because I've seen a lot of people not that happy in the end, because their passion is not making them money, so you don't have to be stuck where it's sad and it's not giving you money and all that stuff. So I think it should come from both. It shouldn't be just one, like it's making me money but I'm not passionate about it. I'm passionate about it but it's not making me money. So you have to balance it out. And of course it's going to be you have to compromise somewhere, but it's totally it's your call for sure.
Totally. Follow your passion and the money will follow kind of thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Awesome. So we have another question here. Well, narrowing down the niche, when I say that, I mean I want to be a UX designer, for example. What factors should I keep in mind and how to answer the why?
Oh, okay. So answering the whys and hows is something that will actually help you find your niche. So the thing is, you have to sit down with a bunch of papers or a diary that you write, and why you like it is something very important. It shouldn't be just, I like to illustrate because I draw. No, it should be something because I like to come up with concepts. It can be, I like to visualize what I visually draw something which I think. It should be something that the concepts that I'm thinking or the concepts of the client, I can actually turn it into a visual aspect. So those are the answers that come from the whys and hows. And I think those, if you answer them, I think you'll find your niche pretty easily. So as Kartik is saying that if he wants to become a UX designer, for example, then he should actually understand like what is UX design, like from the basics, like what is UX design, what type of things that he can do in UX design, and why really he wants to be a UX designer. The answer shouldn't be because I want to, because that's the most simple answer. It should go more deep into it. I hope I answered that.
No, I think that was a great answer, and I think it really showed that like you are so passionate about it, and I think that's why you've been so successful in it.
Oh.
Yeah. So we have another question here. What did your journey to finding your niche look like? Did it come naturally, or did you need to try different things?
Oh, so finding my niche was really hard for me because I was like just coming out of my college. I was always thinking about, I'm a passionate creative. I can do anything that I want. I can be a logo designer. I can be a photographer because I have the tools at that time. And that's why I thought that I need to use those tools. I had the camera, so I should be a photographer. I had the Wacom tablet, so I should be an illustrator. So the thing is, do you find happiness in doing it? I did find happiness creating logos, branding. I still do it, but my most specialty is in illustration. The thing is, to narrow all those things down, I really had to find what I like the most. So I had to actually compare logo design and illustration at the same time, and I had to find where my true passion lies in. Again, I brainstormed a lot, like if I had to go in illustration, let's say, I had to like how I'm going to set my social medias up. Who am I going to approach for the, as a mentor? Who's going to teach me stuff? Who's an expert in it? Who's already a specialist in illustration? What kind of brands do I want to work with? So after I actually listed all of these things down, I found out that illustration is something that is much more dear to me. So I still do logo designs, but it is only with the people who are very selected and the companies and the brands which are very selected. So it's mostly, I think, 1-to-10 ratio. So yeah, so finding illustration was really difficult for me, but I think I'm here. So I think it worked out.
Cool. I think that's a great answer. Do you ever kind of think like, oh, what if I would have gone down the path of photography, or are you like, I know this is for me? Yeah, so the thing is, as I said, like put yourself into the people who are actually doing the same thing that you want to do. So I have a lot of photographer friends. So I did try my hand into it. Like I want to be a photographer, I can do something on a side or something. But it was something that I'm passionate about. I love photography in general, but it's not something that I look up to as I'd be doing in 5 to 10 years down the lane. As I said, like
you have to think about it, doing it in a long run, like 5 to 10 years from now. So photography is something that I still do, but I do it for as my generalist specialist, So I'm an illustrator. So if I'm illustrating for a cafe and the interior of the cafe, a big wall art, so I do the photography of that, so they can put it on the products, or they can put it somewhere else. So photography is something of a hobby that I have linked to my specialty. So when I'm happy, the client is happy. So it's a win-win situation.
All right, awesome. So just for everyone else that's on the chat here, we have time for a few more questions, so send them in.
Yeah, for sure.
I was hoping you could maybe just tell us a little bit about your Adobe sponsorship and your Sony USA, kind of how that came about.
Yeah, so the thing is, it wasn't my doing for sure. I think, so I don't know if you guys know, but I was on the amazing Chris Doe. He is a pioneer in design, for sure. He's amazing. So I had the amazing opportunity to be on his channel, which is The Future. And they are everything, and they talk about everything that is related to creative fields, especially design. So me and few of other designers, illustrators, packaging designers from all over the world, we were in the series called Young Guns too. And because of that, they pitched us for sponsorship from different brands for the creatives. And Adobe was kind enough to give us complimentary memberships, and Sony sent us their camera so that we can shoot the videos better. And it was an amazing experience to be working with such amazing people, and it really changed my perspective towards this industry. There are a lot of people who actually are thinking about not just the amazing successful designers, but just the designers who are just starting out. And Adobe is doing great things. So yeah, it was an amazing journey.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting. And you talked about it sort of with a channel, I'm assuming that's YouTube. And you talked about how you think that's the future of the industry. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
About what? I think I didn't hear you perfectly well.
Kind of like the future of the industry being more social media focused and platforms such as YouTube.
Right. So I think now we are mostly on internet like 24/7. I'm not going to hide anything, but we are mostly on the internet like every single day. And it is really hard for us to actually get the social media detox, just switching off the phones, because that's what our life is right now. Just to see it more positively, I'd say use social media in a good way, like try to post what you really love to do on the social media. That way you'll actually be popular for what you do. You don't have to fake anything. You have to be you. So social media is going to be the future for everything, from marketing to actually pitching your projects to everything. And YouTube and Instagram is a great channel in general. Rather, what you're doing, it just shouldn't be on design. But if you are like a vlogger, or I don't know, a food vlogger or photographer or something, I think these channels actually help you out. For people who are in creative business, like design, I'd say Behance and Dribble, they really help you out. I get a lot of my clients from those two platforms. So Behance and Dribble are really great. So people actually tend to find, so let's say you're in Canada, you can actually find somebody who's a designer, who's perfect for your job, who's perfect for the project that you have, who's sitting in, let's say, Australia. And you just have to message them, and that's it. You have yourself an expert in one of the fields that you need. So I think it's a win-win situation for both of them, like clients and designers likewise. So yeah, it's going to be the future for everything.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, especially when we're talking about the future of work and remote work and being able to work from anywhere in the world. It's a great platform to be able to share your work and show what you can do.
Exactly.
And I think it's and it's definitely expanded the job market from being like, okay, there's 10 designers in my area to now there's thousands of designers I can pick from anywhere in the world, which I think is so awesome.
It's totally great. And the thing is, you don't have to be in the same area. You don't have to be in the same country, let's say. I'm working with a lot of clients who are not from India for sure. And still the projects actually go so fluently because you have all these tools at your side, and you just don't have the social medias, but you have the tools that help you actually achieve those projects in a great flow, like Notion. It can be Slack, it can be Trello, it can be so many great things. So don't be afraid to actually reach out to people who are not from your area, because internet and social media is actually making it everything so easier to grasp, and it's at your hands. So don't be afraid. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's great advice, and I think all of us can kind of take note from that. Raising their hand, I'm not sure if they have a question.
Okay.
If they do, please just put it into the chat here.
Great.
Awesome. Okay, well, we are almost out of time. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I hope I wasn't like inaudible for a long amount of time. Did you hear me perfectly?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Okay, well, I think we're going to end it there. Thank you so much, Maitreyee, for coming out here today, talking to us, giving us some more information about picking your niche. And I think it will help a lot of people out. Yeah, so thank you to all the community members who came out today. For anyone who is not a community member who would like to perhaps sign up, we do have just a quick little offer here for you. It's completely free to sign up. You can join it, use the Learn More link, and it'll take you just to sign up to our free account. Be sure to follow Maitreyee on social media. You can find her Instagram information in the event information. And be sure to reach out to her with any questions you have, or any questions you have.
Yeah, you can DM me, you can email me, anything. I'd love to talk to you and just answer you whatever questions that you have, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for everyone who came out.